Greetings to all. In this course of Python programming, we are going to discuss Python programming starting from the basics to the practical level as deep as possible to make you all understand how easy is Python for application development, project development, interdisciplinary project development, and so on. Right? We will start from a very basic, and I assure that for studying this particular Python course, you don't require any other prerequisite programming course for you. You can have a simple mathematical prerequisite, which is actually enough to go on with this Python course, right? Yes. Now, why Python? Right now, you need to understand why I need a programming language. Yes, you always need a programming language to make something automatic, systematic, and you make something very powerful, right? For example, if a particular task is available and you use a human intelligence to perform that particular task, it is more of a thing that human are always liable to errors and they may commit something wrong also, they may be tired and so on, right? We are in the world of automatic things where we connect environment to other, we make everything automatic, so we need a programming as a backbone for all our tasks, right? So it is always good for every person, starting from a computer engineer to a mechanical engineer to an electronic person. Everyone requires a programming support through which he can build his own products interdisciplinary. Right? I need such a programming language. I assure that Python is one such good programming language which is easy to learn, interdisciplinary, extendable, and so on. Right? This programming language is developed near 1980s by Guido van Rossum, and it has actually become very popular in the near decade in 2000s. I say, right? At the time where Java is actually the most popular programming language, as Python was a budding language at that time. But now, if you see Java as a commercial programming language, but Python emerging as an open source programming language, defeating many other programming languages which grow together with Python and some which came before Python also. Right? Python defeated many other programming languages just because its own features. It is not just because domination, it's because of its own features. Initially, we had Python 2.x and rapidly many versions of Python evolved, and now we are in the era of Python 3.x with ultimate variety of features available at Python. We call Python as a very high level programming language. When we say a language very high level, it means that it is actually very good with respect to reading, and it is also very good with respect to interpreting. Like a human being, yes, a human being can easily learn, right? A layman can easily learn Python rather than any other syntactical programming language. Some languages like if you say C, C++, or Java, they're extremely cool with that much syntax and semantics. But in terms of Python, you need, if I say you need just a normal English followed by a good mathematical background, yes, you can go ahead with Python logic, right? So Python is also a programming language which supports object-oriented programming, functional programming, procedural programming, and also the normal logic and structured programming. What else? All the things are supported in Python at the same time. It is also easy to understand. That's what, right? Some programming languages like R, which actually support the same criteria, also is a tough competitor of Python in various grounds. But still, we focus on any one programming language and try to master it. And why not it be Python? That's what our thing, right? So generally, we have a Python for a good kind of application-oriented developments where it supports cryptography, numerical modules, networking modules, good GUI support, and many development capacities are also available in Python. Yes, you will wonder for everything we have a different package provided by a huge open source community supporting it, right? Yes. And some notable features which can draw people's attention towards Python is actually easy to learn. You can easily learn Python without much ability and without much prerequisite also, right? Even if you are from a cross background or an entirely non-computer science background, I assure that this course as well as Python will make you mastering Python at a much quicker rate, right? Equal to a computer science person, right? And Python supports quick development, right? Starting from a computer engineer to a mechanical person, everybody aims to learn a programming language ultimately to develop a particular product, right? I assure that Python is having that capacity to make any kind of person to become a developer, not only a program writer, but a developer who can utilize a particular programming concept or a construct and develop an item which is actually necessary in his own discipline, right? Say it is going to be an electrical discipline or a Raspberry Pi working or a mechanical engineer, everywhere where you require some sort of automation or where you require some part of computer programming. Yes, Python will be as part of it. And this is actually the era of Python where everywhere the Python is actually present in terms of automation of programming. And Python is actually cross-platform or platform independent. So what is the cross-platform, right? Assume that I'm also a Windows user, right? I'm using Python and typing my programs and developing programs in Windows. And suddenly I want to switch to an Ubuntu system, a different OS, right? So I'm switching from Windows OS to an Ubuntu OS. I have my code which is developed in Windows machine and I need to switch to a different machine and get it executed there. Whether it is possible? Yes, of course, your Python programming is possible, and we have this cross-platform feature equally in Java also. In Java also, I will write here and run anywhere. The same concept is available here in Python. I can write in any machine and run in any other machines. There is no restriction on which machine I need to run. I will explain you how Python makes this possible also, right? Open source. Yes, this is actually the thing which is actually a primary feature which made Python defeat Java. I should not say defeat and equal or trespass Java's kind of environment, right? Many companies came towards Python when Java was becoming more commercialized, right? Now all the companies are actually using Java in a commercial version, but Python had its own features and more packages are available, still is becoming open source, right? And a huge community is actually supporting it. For example, let me take an example called MongoDB. Right. So, what is MongoDB is let me explain that. It has a more an abstract term. I'll explain that. So, MongoDB is actually a database platform where I can run a structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Right. So, what is that? Is I can store images there. I can store text there. I can store videos. Everything in a particular database. Assume it is going to be a storage medium, right? Not all databases will support that feature, right? And using that particular MongoDB is also not that much easy, right? So MongoDB supports Java, Python, and many other things, right? Now, many people are actually facing difficulty on not using MongoDB. Why? Because it is actually a huge kind of storage which I need. If I was able to use it, then my storage will become extremely easy. But using it and learning it is not that much easy, right? So what our open source community of Python did, they developed a package for that called as PyMongo, which made all the Python users and learners use MongoDB very easily, right? The tough mechanism is there on one side, and people who need that particular mechanism are there on other side. In between, we keep a bridge called as Python, and I call that bridge PyMongo. So because of this particular bridge PyMongo, those all people tried to use this MongoDB at a very easy level, right? They easily use this MongoDB, right? This kind of support, not is just a simple example. Likewise, many complex things are available on industry, and Python community and open source people are doing their ultimate thing in solving those issues, right? So Python is actually becoming more famous and even more user having more customers all over the world, right? Extensible, right? I say, it is going to be open source language. Anybody can contribute and extend. If I was giving you a solution, you can extend that solution, right? It is open source. Every good person, every good programmer, or every good developer can contribute it and extend it, right? So it is extensible, embeddable, right? Starting from first, I'm saying you can be a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer or a computer science person. You can combine everything, you can embed everything, and you can use it for your own development. So Python supports it, right? Python is having a huge law standard library and an active community. As I said, an open source community is there. Many different packages and libraries are available to solve complex tasks. Those complex tasks are actually very tough to solve without those packages if I was directly relying on Python programming. Just because of those packages, these jobs are done at a very easy rate, right? So it is also useful for a wide variety of applications, right? Many applications rely on Python programming to get it solved, right? Many applications are available. In today's world, Python become a core part of various applications, and many companies are actually relying on Python and making money, right? Then this much good features Python, right? So everyone will be loving to learn Python, right? So how we are going to start? We are going to start, as I already said, we are going to have this course in a practical fashion. So all our thing is going to go in a practical environment or an interpreter of Python, right? So I'm going to use Windows for the whole course, and I'll also explain you how to use Python in other machines also, right? So I have to say the interpreter how to download everything. So we will go into that, right? So we are going to use an interpreter called as Python IDLE. So Python idle is actually a editor of Python, which is actually mostly used by all the Windows users and the initial learners, right? We are also going to rely on Python idle, and later we will be moving on to Jupyter Notebook, which is actually provided by Anavanta Navigator, and this is also useful in a different fashion, and it is actually more interactive also, right? So everything we will learn now. As far as initial learnings kind taking into concern, we will go into Python idle. Right now we have to see how to use Python ideally, right? Yes. Now, what I will do is, now I'll go to a web browser. Now, what I need is, I need to have Python idle download. So, what I should do, I need to do a very simple thing. I need to go for Google Chrome, and I need to have Python idle download. Very simple, right? So, what I will do, I'll go to Chrome, I go to Google, just type Python ideally download for Windows. Even Python is available for Android phones also called as Pydroid, and Python is actually endless. It has everything, right? So now this is actually my page, and the link is actually python.org/downloads. And here you have this Python code, download Python 3.8.5. This version of Python, if you click here, it will be downloading Python along with some basic packages and GUI terms also. And this particular Python download link will also give you a command prompt called as pip. We name it as, we call it as pip, right? So pip is actually a thing or a command which is actually used to install packages in Python. You have various packages in Python. As far as you move in as deep as possible in Python, you will be using packages of Python, right? Whenever you need a package, you need to install it and use, right? So how to install is by using the pip command, right? We will see how to use everything and so on. Just understand that this particular Python download will give you the pip command also, right? Pip also will be downloaded and you can just install it like any other normal softwares, right? And I already have IDLE in my system, so I do not need to download it. And if I have IDLE, this is the way in which I get my IDLE will look like this. Yes, this is actually the Python interpreter IDLE. Right, this is actually an interactive mode. Python offers two ways of coding. One is interactive mode of coding. Another is programmable way of coding. That I will have an editor separately. I will save that file as .py. Right. Similar, for example, if you are typing it in a Word document, you will be saving it as .docx. If you type anything in Excel, you will be saving it as .xlsx and so on. Everything will have an extension. Likewise, if you are using C programming, you will be saving it as .c. If you are using C++, you will be saving it as .cpp. Likewise, if you are going to write a Python program, you should save it as .py, right? Some name .py, right? So saving it as .py and then executing the entire program in the command prompt. This is actually the blended way. And we can also make line by line execution of interactive mode of execution also possible in Python, right? How to do that is very simple. For example, if I want to type like 2 plus 3, right? So what will happen? I just get 5. Just immediately I'll get some answer. There is no assignment, anything. Just having two operands and an operator plus just making addition. Just you say 2 plus 3, it will give some answer. Fine. So if I say 2 star 5, it will be giving me 10 star for multiplication. Similarly, if I say 8 divide 2, it will be giving me 4.0 and so on, right? Even learning about the arithmetic operations of Python by itself is actually a very nice thing compared to other programming languages. Even those who have mastered C or C++, after knowing about these kind of use cases of Python, they will be grabbed into Python. They will be pulling into Python to learn it. Why? Because it is that much easy to deal with data types in Python. Right? Because this is actually the interactive mode of Python interpreter. And if I want to print anything, just to say, I want to print hello Python. Right? And just what I will say, just print hello Python. Right? That's it. Right? If I want to print anything, I will just say print. Right? So in a layman fashion, I can say how to learn Python is if you know English and some mathematics with some logical brain, you can actually master Python. That's it. Right? Not much syntax or semantics involved in Python, and not that much strict behavior is also there in Python like other programming languages. It is a very high level programming languages. I underline that, bold that, italic that. This high level programming. So it is actually very easy to learn, right? Going back, yes, we have some other editors also possible, including Vim, Emacs, Notepad++, PyCharm, Eclipse, and so on. Many other editors are also possible, and these editors actually make Python be executed in some other paradigm, save it as .py file, and get it executed in the command prompt. Right? This is actually the way. We are actually very well suitable with IDLE, and we can move away to Jupyter Notebook also. In case of Ubuntu or some other OS, if you use, IDLE is also supported in Ubuntu. And if for initial learners, those who use Ubuntu, I actually appreciate them. Why? Because Ubuntu is considered as a home of Python. Why? Because Python is open source, and all the open source operating systems have Python built in. Right? We don't want to install it separately. It has Python built in, and you can directly use Python there. Right? So, for initial learners and most of the users being part of Windows, we use IDLE here as an interpreter of Python, right? And the coming to how this interpreter works, right? I say Python is actually cross-platform, right? So I can run in on machine and I can make it possible to execute in some other machine also. By machine, I mean the operating system, right? I have any different operating system like Windows, Ubuntu, Debian, and so on, right? I have any different operating system. How Python is becoming platform independent or cross-platform feature is coming in Python, right? Usually, any programming language I write will be normally relying on English language because I know English. So I use some syntax and semantics and I write my programming code. Right? If I want to convert that code into a machine understandable fashion, I will convert that into something called as bytecode. Right? I will convert that into something called as bytecode. So what is actually called as bytecode is actually a machine understandable code. So my English statements, which I write as some syntax, will be converted into something called as bytecode. This bytecode will be understood by the machine in, and it will start executing in its own language, right? Assume that bytecode is language of that machine, right? So usually this is the case when you give either a C program or a C++ program. This conversion actually takes place. If my interpreter or a compiler, right, is not able to convert my Python code into a bytecode, then it means that my code is having an error, right? So when error comes when my program, right, say it is an English kind of file, is not able to be completely converted into a bytecode. If that is not possible, then it will say, yeah, it is facing some difficulties in terms of errors. Right? This is actually the actual case which happens in all the programming languages. But in case of Python, what actually happens is here also the Python code will be converted into bytecode, but not the bytecode of the machine, right? A particular machine. It will be converted into a bytecode of a particular Python virtual machine, right? It is not only the bytecode of Windows or bytecode of Debian or bytecode of Ubuntu. It is not a particular bytecode. It is going to convert it into a bytecode of a virtual machine, right? So this virtual machine, this particular V, can be substituted with Windows, Ubuntu, or Debian, and so on. Right? I'm not going to generate bytecode of a Windows machine, or I'm not going to generate bytecode of a Ubuntu machine, or so on. I'm going to develop a bytecode of a virtual machine. Right? This virtual machine will serve as a medium to get it executed in any other machine, right? This particular bytecode will be, when it is available in Windows, it will be transformed in the fashion of Windows. If it is made available in Ubuntu, it will be transformed in the fashion of Ubuntu. If it is made available in Debian, it will be transformed into the fashion of Debian, and so on. Right? This is actually the thing. So this is how Python become platform independent or cross platform, right? Right. Similarly, as we discussed just now, Python comes in two ways. One is normal mode of execution, another is interactive mode of execution. Python is either available as normal mode or an interactive mode. This particular interactive mode is possible when you run it in command prompt by using some editors like IDLE, Jupyter, and so on. Right? You can be executing in line. Right? Normal mode of execution is writing an Python file and then executing it as a .py file in some other interpreter. That is actually normal mode. And interactive mode will be called by the name called as read, eval, print, loop. Right? First read a statement, evaluate it, and then print it. That is actually the case, and we will call it as REPL. Right? I will read a statement, I will evaluate it, immediately print it. Next, go to the next line, right? So this is actually called as REPL. So it is more interactive. I do not wait if I have 10 lines of code. I don't want to my compiler to be patient and see all the 10 lines and get executed and start its execution. Each time I complete a line, I can make it execute and give me the result. Right? That is actually called as interactive mode, line by line execution as we call. Right? So once my line gets terminated, the thing will be executed. Right? That is actually called as interactive mode. So interactive mode is also available in Python. Right? Now coming to the normal mode, what I say do is I'll have a .py file. I will make, for example, I will write print hello world in an empty file, and then just I will save that file as .py and run it in an interpreter. That is actually called as normal mode. In interactive mode, it is very good, useful for initial syntax learnings for Python, where I will just type something and then I'll get it executed. The most important thing to note here is the difference between Python 2.x and Python 3.x. Right. So, for example, to provide an easy kind of explanation here, I say print hello world in double quotes, right? But before that, in an idle platform, we type it in brackets, right? In Python 2.x, we don't require that bracket actually, but in Python 3.x, we actually require it. In Python 3.x, we actually require brackets to be used, right? So these are the things what we actually say here, right? So for example, if I say 2-star file, we'll be getting 10. If I say 2-star hello string, right? So what will happen is hello string is actually called as hello world, right? So what will happen? Hello world will be repeated 2 times. So I'm just saying 2 into a particular string. So it is actually called as repetition, right? Many good features are available in Python and are very doing the same in a very easy fashion, right? So learning Python is not that much difficult, and using Python is also not that much difficult. The only thing what you need to concentrate is how logical sense you are going to apply and what logical sense you are going to build your program. That logical mind is actually required here, right? Other than that, learning a programming language is actually very easy. The thing where the problem lies is the logical thinking, right, to solve problems. That will be coming when you do that much practices, right? So in this particular video, what we have seen is we have got an introduction about a programming language, a very brief history of Python, features of Python such as it is easy to use, extendable, embeddable, and it is open source and having a huge set of community to support it, and it can be used for developing many softwares and having and being as a core part of many industries for developing products. And Python is cross-platform. Why? Because it has a Python virtual machine support, and Python comes with two modes of execution. One is normal mode of execution, and the other is interactive mode of execution. And we have seen how to download a Python interpreter called as Python IDLE, which we are going to use for initially for this course to learn the practical things. Right? So thank you for this video. We will continue my depth things in such as data types, everything in the next video. Thank you.